Hello and apologies to everyone. I know I said I was going to make this video soon. Instead, it's taking me over pretty much a month to do this video. But the truth is that I actually recorded previously a video 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago to be more precise. But during that time, I made a decision to go to Germany to visit my new girlfriend, and because of that, I added an additional 5,000 kilometers. So instead of 100,000 kilometers review, it's going to be 105,000 kilometers review, which I think is good because it's not that common. But anyway, so I'm not going to tell you so much about the speed and what I think, and because I did that already. Okay, that was the first video when I did 50,000 kilometers. If you haven't watched it, I really recommend you to watch it. And so what I want to say instead is the kind of issues that I faced throughout these over 100,000 kilometers that I've ridden with this beautiful bike. So let's start with the engine, because obviously engine is, I guess, the most important and the thing that you might be thinking about. So how is the engine? Did these guys have any issues? Truth is, I did. Okay, so around 90,000, I think it was 90, 92, 93,000 kilometers. One morning I rode. So I went on the motorway. So as you know, I need to ride approximately 230 kilometers to get from where I live to Barcelona. That's my commute. And while doing so, when I got to Barcelona, I was already in the city center. I was stopping on a light, and then um, there was a very, very terrible sound coming from my bike, and I didn't know what it was. So I was like, "Whoa, this is weird. Like, what's going on?" Obviously, I'm not a mechanic. I've got no clue about sounds or what could possibly be. So what I did, I kept riding because I had to just ride perhaps 300 meters to get to where I normally park. And well, what I did, I recorded. So,
Que viene de allá adentro, tío, no tengo ni puta idea.
suena horrible, ¿eh? Okay, and then I share that to my friends, and I ask them, so can you please tell me like what this could be? And yeah, so they said, well, there are a couple of issues, but two of them mentioned that it could be the chain cam, or the cam chain, I think. Well, yeah. So it just happened that unfortunately, 2 days before that, um, I I took it to the mechanic to do a general review of the bike, because wanted to see everything was alright, because I was already planning a very long trip ahead, not the one to Germany, but another one. And yeah, so everything was fine. So he checked the valves just to see everything was fine, and he said everything surprisingly is okay. So I did the valve check. That was, yeah, around 90,000 pretty much. And so I thought, well, perhaps he touched something and it's something with the valves. But what didn't cross my mind that it could be something completely independent from that. And obviously, I mean, is using tier, wear and tear of components of the bike. And I must say, that I use this bike a lot on every single day. And yeah, so, and after that, everything was fine. I haven't had any more issues with that. Another thing also with the engine oils and stuff is that I recently, you might hate me about this, or you might be surprised, or you might call me crazy, but I recently, so 105,000 kilometers, I replaced for the second time. No, for the third time, excuse me, for the third time, the air filter. Okay, so the previous one was a 60,000 kilometers, and this one was now 105 kilometers. And so it wasn't that dirty. I thought it was going to be dirtier because of the amount of trails that I ride. But fair enough, I ride most of the time alone. And yeah, so it wasn't that dirty as the one that I replaced at 60,000. That was really dirty. Um, So what happened was that when I opened here, I don't know if you know, I guess most bikes have this, but so you've got the air filter, right? And then so you've got a space, right? So you can take it, kind of detach it, and then on the other side, you've got kind of like a hole, like a hollow area, and an exhaust, which I think is the gases. And I presume that through this exhaust, or this is more actually my friend explained me this, that through this exhaust, the oil has been burning, and the gases. So it's the gas of is the gas produced by the oil, yeah. And this oil, when it's condensing, is going back and is created kind of like it create like a tiny little pond of fresh oil, very very clean. And yeah, so I had to just use a lot of like kitchen towel and just soak it, and then eventually it disappeared. But I need to keep that in mind because yeah. And when that happened, I asked one of my friends, so what do you think that could be? And he said, well, I think it's just a proof of usage. Like you've been using the bike a lot, and you've been putting it to a lot of stress, and this is a sign that yeah, well, you've been using every single component, so pistons, valves, rings, whatever is inside, and now you need to keep an eye on the oil levels just in case the oil levels go down. I must say I didn't know this in our road to Germany, so I presume this was happening before road to Germany. I went to Germany, came back, and just bear in mind my trips to Germany, just in case nobody follows me on Instagram. The first trip, it was 1,600 kilometers, sorry, 1,450 kilometers approximately, and I did that in 23 hours. Okay, I didn't sleep. I know it's crazy, whatever. I actually had a testicle infection, but now it's all sorted. Fingers crossed. Um, but yeah, so and I mean, part of that, like my whole idea was to do it in roads like not rural roads, but just one lane roads, not jumping on any motorway. But when I got to Germany, when I crossed the French-German border, it was already 5 p.m. And then I checked Google Maps, and it said you still need to ride another 7 hours. And I said, this is insane. I can't ride another 7 hours. And so instead, I jumped on the Autobahn, the motorway in Germany. And as you know, people there are insanely crazy and they drive insanely fast. This bike is by no means any fast. But anyway, I risked it. I did it. So I rode the last 5 hours on the motorway in Germany, and the average was 115, 110, 112. To my surprise, I thought I was going to be slower than lorries or trucks, but that was not the case. I was actually faster than them, and because of that, most of the time I had to be in the middle lane. So in Germany, I've got 3 lanes, and the vibration that creates once you pass a lorry and at the same time goes a car on the left going at around 300 kilometers per hour. It's just insane. The vibration of the bike is like you can feel like it just goes everywhere. But anyway, I did it. On the way back, it didn't take me to say. It actually took me 36 hours, non-stop. Okay, didn't stop. I took it easy, drank a lot of water, stopped, did some kind of like very short tourism in Lyon. Um, Also in the Black Forest in Germany, also did that. So yeah, beautiful, highly recommend it. But you need time. Okay, so this time 36 hours, not bad. I also had to replace the wheel bearings, and this happened around 87, 86,000 kilometers. We were on a long trip around Valencia. Beautiful place. Very unexplored. Not many people go there, but definitely worth visiting if you have the chance to. It's not part of the TED, surprisingly, but it's worth if you can just download a couple of trails and then come and visit it. It's really beautiful. Highly recommend it. Very technical, a lot of rocks. Um, but anyway, nevertheless, so I had so I had a puncture, the rear tire. And then, yeah, I mean, because I wasn't off road, I couldn't really feel it. I couldn't feel like everything was right. But then, as I had to ride from Murcia all the way to Barcelona, um, yeah, the sad truth was that the rear wheel was wobbling a lot. And yeah, so I went to a mechanic and asked him, "Can you please check? Perhaps you know, the patch is not properly sitting right on the tube or something, and it must be replaced. So he got the tube replaced, but while doing so, he checked your wheel bearings are just completely worn. You need to replace them. So then I was doubting. I mean, I was kind of like self-reflecting. Shall I also replace the front one instead of just the rear ones? And yeah, so in the end, I did that. So in the end, I replaced both rear and front. Um, what else I've been having? Yeah, so another issue that I've been having with the bike, and this was around 95,000. I would say 95,000, 90. No, yeah, yeah, something around 90,000 kilometers. Um, my so in the morning so you're right, I get home, switch off the bike. In the morning, I come to the car park, and then I switch on the engine. And I mean, in the evening, I normally leave it on neutral N, so you can see the N on the dashboard. But in the morning, when I want to turn it on, there's no N. So it's because of that, I need to, yeah. So it's kind of like it looks like is engaged in one gear, but it's in no gear. It's just neutral. So what I need to do is just basically just doing like this, and just switch it on, and then it goes, and then the N appears miraculously. Um, and because of that, I think I replaced the battery around, yeah, like 90 something, 95,000 kilometers, because I thought, well, there might be there might be something going on with the battery, right? Like might be some electrical issues, and I mean, the battery has never been replaced. It's the OEM one. So I bought a brand new one. I put it on, and yeah, yeah. To my surprise, it's like the following morning it was alright, but the following one, so 2 days after I replaced the battery, the same problem was there. So I don't know. There's some electrical issues going on. I've got no idea. Perhaps some water or something. I mean, something it must be checked. All right. So going back to the bike. What else? Chains, tons. I mean, I think someone asked me, can't remember now, but I get my change. So I change the chain roughly every 30 to 35,000 kilometers. I can't do more than that. It's just too used because at the moment I'm using the bike a lot, and I'm using the bike to commute, not just to go on trails. This bike is not to commute, but I must admit that I'm surprised by the performance on this bike when it comes to commuting. Because at the beginning, so around, I think when it was like 70,000, yeah, this is roughly a year ago. Yeah, 75,000 kilometers. I had, so I changed jobs, and then I had to start commuting to Barcelona. And in the beginning, it was like 110 kilometers per hour, but it was really tiring, really boring. And then I started pushing a little bit harder and harder and harder. Now, so I've got two sections. One section is half an hour, another section half an hour. In either of those half an hour sections, I need to ride at 120 kilometers per hour, 118, 117, because it's just a motorway. So I need to do that, and it's just been fine. I mean, apart from the oil that I mentioned here and the cam thing and everything, and I guess the use, it can actually hold 120 kilometers perfectly, no issue whatsoever. It's a very reliable bike, okay, provided that you do, as a friend told me, replace the oil every 6,000 or six to 7,000 kilometers, and every oil filter every 10 to 12,000 kilometers. The the air filter, no, I need to replace it a bit sooner, but anyway, rookie mistake from my side, but it's okay. Right, so guys, really don't have anything else to say. If you've got any questions or comments, sorry, anything that didn't mention in particular you were very interested to hear about this bike or in this review but didn't mention, so please let me know in the comments. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I really recommend you to. So have a great weekend, keep riding, and remember, CRF250Rally is one hell of a reliable bike. I know the other ones, but this one is not gonna let you down. It's gonna take you to the end of the earth. All right, guys, that's it. See you next time. Bye.